Oh man, let's like comic books. Man, there's a lot of bad comic books out there.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
god.
I flipped through a issue of Avengers #6, the newest one. The art is so crazy. Like you have Captain Marvel, her breasts change size from page to page. Sometimes she's completely flat like a butch lesbian. There's times where she looks like a normal woman, and it's the same issue.
Yeah.
It's like what's
It's
going
like they didn't have the same artist working on the same issue.
Or maybe there was time in between panels, and like he forgot how he drew the last one.
It's like Austin.
Or it's and
Well, you had a different editor saying, no, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. So you kept
There's-
changing it.
Yeah.
there is I posted it on our Twitter or whatever, and there's also a face that Captain Marvel makes where there's no detail. It's literally 2 dash lines for the eyes and a dash for the mouth.
Ooh.
That's good enough for Marvel Comics.
It's a background shot, but still. I don't care if it's a faraway shot. Just have her face.
Yeah.
Just like a Charlie Brown character.
Yeah, I just remember it.
And then you have it's a Captain America's there, and like it just feels like it's where I grew up with Marvel Comics, and I love the X-Men and everything, but I found so much better storylines in art, character things in indie comics. I mean, I started getting back into comics a little bit last year, and I'm like, okay, where do I start? I want to pick up some X-Men comics. I'm like, what is all this? What's all this stuff? This SJW stuff? This, heroes not acting like heroes, and I'm like, man, where can I find good comics? And it was on the internet, and it was with indie comics.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to plug Rags here real quick. I found it by like accident, and I thought, I'm not big into zombies, but you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And I'm like, wow, you're telling me this is the $1.50 comic I got off the internet, while the $4.99 Marvel comic was something that's garbage?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, honestly, I just couldn't believe that I'm trying to read I'm Gambit and Nightcrawler. Those are my guys. I love those guys. And there's nothing there for me. I've been shunned by the creators. I've been told I'm a racist, I'm a bigot, I'm this, I'm that if I don't like your storylines. I'm like, well, I love comic books, but where do I go? And I can tell you go to the indie scene. That's where all the people on Twitter, they do their best to interact with fans and have a fun time.
Yeah, and what I see with indie as well is that they love their comic characters. They love their comic book that they're making. I feel Marvel and DC sometimes get away from that because they feel like, oh man, I'm going to put my own agenda, I'm going to do this and that. And they don't go back to like, I'm making comics because I love to.
Yeah, but they hire people that don't care about the characters. They're just trying to get a foothold.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
Do you think Mark Waid loves Captain America when you made him a Nazi? Do you think he loved that? No, he hated him. He wanted to show you how much he hated him.
Exactly.
Did you ever follow Dan Slott on Twitter?
You mean Dan Blocko Slotto?
Dan Slotto Bloctavius?
Yeah.
If you ever listen to him, he would state time and time again that his only purpose for writing Spider-Man was just to torture Peter Parker because he hated the character.
That's awful.
That's horrible.
That's awful.
That's so awful. That makes me sad. I'm sad for Peter Parker. To be forced to be when you're handed a character, especially if you had no business in creating the character, you're just a steward for them to move on to the next thing. You don't own Spider-Man. So don't trash him. Don't trash Captain America. Don't ruin Wolverine. Did you see Wolverine's new costume, by the way, Brian?
Oh, Chef Wolverine?
He got a couple shifts at Payway. Got to pay them bills.
Yep.
And
I feel like putting 2 slices of bread against his ears and asking him, "What are you?" "A sandwich."
And now his claws can heat up.
Now he can cook too.
That's another. They gave him another like power. But he's being stabbed with a foot-long knife isn't good enough. It needs to be on fire too. It's like it's an unneeded
And
thing.
it's an adamantium claw, so
Yeah,
they're really strong.
Yeah,
That wasn't good enough.
I actually liked the death of Wolverine. I thought it was poignant. I thought, he went back. He's like, I'm going to end this weapon program because what happened to me, I don't want to happen to anyone else. He gets encased in adamantium and he dies watching the sun rise over the ocean. Beautiful. But they have to always bring him back.
Yeah, well, it's Wolverine. You have to bring him back. I just wish they would have brought him back with more of a classic look.
Oh, yeah. The brown and yellow, I think, was my favorite.
Oh, brown and yellow is so good.
Big-ass belt buckles. 90s were awesome. Buckles and pouches.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, in the just comic books, I've been trying. I haven't bought a Marvel comic in forever. I can't for it. It just kills me to do it.
I think the last Marvel book I was actually reading was Spider-Gwen, and I just just because I wanted to see where they went with the character. But the last real Marvel book I actually really physically bought, the last part of Secret Wars,
Oh
the
yeah.
new Secret Wars, and that was it. After it's like, I'm not doing this anymore. They've reset the universe like 9 times within the last 4 years.
And every time it gets a little bit worse.
Little by little.
Yeah, like when they finally killed off like the Fantastic Four because they didn't have the movie rights back in the day. That's I'm like, what? That's when I was really like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. I think the last comic I read from Marvel was Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. We're talking almost like
He's like a cosmic Ghost Rider now.
Yeah, and then he also got
That was a new one. I saw a cover, but I didn't read it though.
no. I really like Ghost Rider, and I haven't seen anything from him in a long time besides like what Crimson's been saying.
Yeah, Ghost Rider is in that Avengers comic, that one I was talking with the bad art. And when you take something as cool as a big flaming Dodge Charger flying through outer space and you make it look boring, that's talent.
Why don't you make it look cool? You know, no, tone it down.
Yeah, I think the last Marvel comic I read is when Colossus got a beard and he was hunting with Kitty
Oh,
Pryde.
did you see how Kitty Pryde left him at the altar?
Yeah. What? Yeah, don't even get me started on that. Colossus is my favorite character, and that just
Okay, well in Marvel's defense, did you ever fully believe that any comic character would ever get married that wasn't North Star?
Yeah, I know, right?
I know, right?
Well, the funny thing is, Gambit and Rogue got married instead.
Oh.
Like at the end of that, they're like, "Oh, everyone's here. Let's just get married." And that was like the trick. Like, oh, everyone thought it was gonna be Colossus and Kitty Pryde, but it ended up being Rogue and Gambit.
Well, that's nice.
And I like Rogue and Gambit. See, I'm a '90s X-Men guy.
Yeah.
I love that dynamic. I almost picked up the Rogue and Gambit comic, but it's just like Marvel. You got to stop treating me like crap. You got to stop doing it.
yeah.
Mhm.
And just because I disagree with something, I'm a horrible person. You can't do that to me. I can't give you my money.
You know.
Not once did I pick up, a lot of these indie comics from the smaller companies. I've never been like, I guess Peter Smitty does the, what's his line called? Alterna.
Oh, okay.
He's on Twitter all the time just talking about his books, his characters, thanking people who bought it, who shared on Twitter. And that's all he does.
They don't talk about politics anyway.
Yeah, he
No.
didn't tell you you're dumb. If you say, hey, I didn't like this issue, he doesn't tell you you didn't like it because you're just a stupid man or whatever. He doesn't do any of that. That's how you build goodwill.
Mhm.
And what does it cost you to do that?
Nothing.
Nothing.
But it gives you everything at the same time.
You be champions. Like, it's so weird. People always try to bring up things from the past. Oh, if there was Twitter back in the day, Stan Lee would agree with us. Stan Lee was also a businessman. Regardless of what he believed in, I don't think he would have done that because he knows you got to sell books.
I think what people have forgotten is things like fandom, things like comics, video games, movies. They're not supposed to be a place where you have this political divide. It's all supposed to be a table where everybody can come and sit and eat and just enjoy it for what it is. Just consume comics, consume movies, and then once you start inserting like agendas heavy-handedly, because comics and movies and all sorts of entertainment medium, there's always been politics in there, but it hasn't been heavy-handed. Like Ghostbusters is one of my favorite movies from 1984, not that other
I was about
abomination
to
that they
kick
made.
you out of the chat.
1984 Ghostbusters. That was all about sticking it to the man and going out and creating a small business and sticking it to the government and screw government regulations. But it's not so heavy-handed into just constant saying F the government, F the government, F the government. I don't think that creators nowadays just know how to make something for everyone else to enjoy without having to send a message. And you don't always have to create something and send a message, So that's kind of why books suck nowadays, because everything has to be a message, and they only want a certain group of people to enjoy it and not everybody.
Yeah. The thing is, you gotta when you're trying to really sell a product and want people, you gotta want to hit the biggest target. And you start getting you forget nuance, and you start just being this heavy hammer, like you said. It turns people off. Normies, people who don't go to the comic shop every Wednesday, who don't go to Twitter and talk to creators, they see these actions and they're like, ugh, weird. I don't want anything to do with that.
And again, people don't know subtlety. You got to be subtle with it, okay?
Mhm.
Bring it and then leave it and let it go. No, but they have to keep, like you said, bringing it up, in the subtle ways and saying, you have to be this way, you have to feel this way.
My favorite way in a story is when a creator will give you a problem, 2 solutions. The hero chooses one solution, but he never says how the other solution was a horrible, terrible thing. And it leaves it up to you thinking maybe he should have done it the other way. Or he or she or
Well, that's the best.
That's the best way to do it. And they never tell the reader, by the way, if you thought the other way was right, you're a moron. You don't do that.
My goodness, the perfect parallel is, and I would probably a few times, if you watch About a Girl in Orville, did that beautifully with their problem with that kid. Perfectly.
Because in that storyline, they're an all-male race of aliens, and they forcefully, if you have a female child, they forced it to have a sex change.
Yeah.
And that's how they've always done it. But how do we tell our sensibilities onto another alien race?
Yeah.
Then, like, they started having this whole courtroom drama about it, and it never tells you. They end up changing the sex change of the baby because they disagree. The government says, no, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
But it never tells you that the other people were wrong for thinking the other way.
No.
It was just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it's just a baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Because she doesn't get a choice.
very good story. Very
That was good.
story.
I think that was a really good way of not telling the audience you're wrong for thinking one way or the other.
Yeah, so that's
To give you good reasons for both.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's a cool way to do that. But that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Can someone bring up a Marvel comic that's done that? No. Man. This clip was taken from our live stream. Be sure to check out the full unedited live stream available here on the Crimson 15 podcast. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, sub, and share. Also, for the most up-to-date information about the podcast, follow us on Twitter at C15 Podcast.